And welcome back, or to Woodland Bunny, a cozy space to talk about books. Today we are doing the end of year book tag. I did this last year, albeit a bit earlier in the year, and wanted to do it again because I just love wrapping up the year in some sort of way and thought this was a really fun way to do it. So we have a handful of questions that I'm going to go through today. Going to be a bit of a chatty, rambly video just talking about books, and I would love to know your answer to these questions in the comments below. So let's get into it. Question 1, are there any books this year that you need to finish? I am so bad at starting books, getting halfway through, putting them down and starting another book. It is the mood reader in me. I just cannot help it, and then I forget that I ever started that book. A few that come to mind is Anatomy. I only recently started that one, and then I started reading something else, and I don't know why I ever put it down because I was quite enjoying it. I think I'm only 20 pages through. So that's the first one. Then I have A Botanical Daughter. I got quite the way through that one, about halfway, and it just ended up putting me in a bit of a slump, and I just knew that that wasn't the kind of book I was feeling at the moment, so didn't want to get in the slump, so I abandoned ship and put that one down as well. Like I say, I was quite enjoying it, but it just wasn't really resonating with me, and I don't want to ever give a book a bad press just because I'm not in the mood to read it. I just think that's so unfair. So yeah, put that one down as well. Then we have I Haven't Been Entirely Honest With You by Miranda Hart, a non-fiction book that I'm absolutely loving it, but dreading finishing because I'm just loving it so much. And I know that sounds so bizarre, but I'm just procrastinating ending it because I don't know. I feel like the one thing about this book is because I am a fellow ME, chronic fatigue sufferer, similar to Miranda as she discusses in this book, there are so many life lessons and treasures, as she calls them, that have been woven into this book that I resonate with so much and have never felt so seen that I am scared to finish it because it's become somewhat of a comfort blanket. And I think there is also so much information in this book that I'm finding it kind of tricky to digest, and so I kind of got a bit overwhelmed because my diagnosis is fairly recent in like terms of lifespan, I suppose. So yeah, I think I kind of felt a bit of overwhelm and then ended up putting it down, but definitely want to get back to it, probably at a slower pace in a more digestible manner within non-fiction and kind of learning lessons like that, and it will definitely be one that I revisit once I finished it. Then the other one that comes to mind is The Purple House in Town, The Only Purple House in Town. I got so far through this one. I think I was near the end and just put it down. I think again, the characters were a bit icky. I was finding it a bit cringy, especially the romance. So I didn't really want to be reading that at the time. But yeah, I definitely want to finish that one because I did start to enjoy it and just kind of took it for what it was. So I think that'll be an interesting one to finish, along with its name is now escaping me. Oh yes, Till Death Do Us Part. So this one, again, I am literally like less than 50 pages from the end, and I don't know why I ended up putting it down. I was really enjoying this one. I thought it was a fun, easy, quick reading time. It was great fantasy, great romance in there. But again, I just put it down because I think I probably found something a little bit more interesting. So those two books, The Only Purple House in Town and Till Death Do Us Part, definitely want to finish because I'm literally near the end. So what's the point in not finishing them? So I think those are all of the books that come to mind. There are a lot of books that I've started that I've got bookmarks in all throughout my bookshelves just because I've put them back for whatever reason, but those will be treasures to find for another day when I go through my books. So the next question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition you into the end of the year? This one is a bit of a rogue answer because yes and no, because I want to read more of a wintry book now that we're nearing Christmas and the end of the year, in which I'm wanting to read Winter by Ali Smith. If you watch my book haul, and I think perhaps I mentioned it in my most anticipated TBR video that I recently did, I read Autumn by Ali Smith, and I'm wanting to now read the seasonal quartets that she's released in the season that they're set in. I think that would just be something so magical about it. It will feel so much more true and real and so much more identifiable. So yes, Winter is going to be the book that I want to read to transition me into the end of the year / before the end of the year, or before the end of winter, I suppose. And I'm very excited about it. Next question is there a new release that you're waiting for? And usually I never have an answer for this because I am so awful at tracking new releases, and I'm so much of a backlog kind of person that new releases just never come to the forefront unless it's something that that I'm particularly excited about, because I'm just, like I say, I found so many gems in people's backlists. But there are two books that spring to mind that I'm very excited about, because I'm very much in my cozy, whimsical, kind of fantasy but somewhat slice of life fiction era to kind of give the word a word, I guess. And the first one is The Healing Season of Pottery, in which is out on the 30th of January. This is a translated Korean fiction book, and I am so excited for this. I am just loving these slice of life, wholesome, kind of going through every day, learning life lesson kind of books. And I'm currently reading Letters from the Stationery Shop, in which, again, similar to this, also I read this year the bookshop book. What is the name? And then I also read the the Kamigawa Food Diaries, I think it's called, as well. These two books started my love for this kind of wholesome, everyday living in a general area, life lesson, low plot fiction. And I don't know if there's a word, or I don't know if there's a subgenre for this fiction, but I am loving it so much, and it is genuinely reinvigorating my soul. So yeah, that is the first one, The Healing Season of Pottery, because I feel as though it has similar themes to those books that I just described. Then the second one is a cute one, in which I actually have on pre-order, which is The Baby Dragon Cafe, and which comes out on the 16th of January. So excited for this one. It just looks so cute. It has all of the buzzwords that I love. Again, hoping for a wholesome, fun time with this, with maybe a little bit of fantasy or like magic sprinkled in. So excited for those two. Then we have what are 3 books you want to read by the end of the year. And I feel as though there are just so many books that I want to read and get to by the end of the year that it's kind of hard to nail down. But when I was looking at my shelves and all of my kind of like recent anticipated TBR books, the first one is The Murder at the Vicarage, because I have never read an Agatha Christie. Recently bought my first Agatha Christie, as you would have seen in my book haul, and I am so excited, genuinely so excited. So I definitely want to read that one to see whether I enjoy Agatha Christie's writing, A, and then B, what books I should start exploring in that whole world. Then the next book that I definitely want to read before the end of the year is Restaurants of Lost Recipes. This is the second installment to the Kamigawa Food Diaries, in which I, again, adored, and as I said, started kind of this whole train of like wholesome literature for me. And my partner bought this for me for Christmas and gave it to me as an early gift present, in which I'm very, very excited to get to. And the first book, it just, like I say, really hit my soul and made it feel alive and bright and light. So excited for that one as well. Then the final third book that I want to get to before the end of the year is Bookshops and Bone Dust, in which is the prequel, I think, to Legends and Lattes. This book was on my previous year end of year book tab, I think, for an anticipated release. It's been on my wish list for so long before it got released, and I just never picked it up. Finally bought it the other day, and I am so excited and kind of nervous because I've been hyping it up so much in my head. So fingers crossed I really enjoy it. But yes, that is the final book out of those 3 that I'm wanting to read before the end of the year. Then the next question is kind of a vague one. It's, is there a book that you think could shock you and be a favourite of the year? And genuinely, any books on my TBR right now could be a favourite. I did a big book haul recently, as I've mentioned multiple times, and a lot of those books were just from my wish list and potential favourites that I think I could love. So I genuinely think any single one of those could be a favourite. So I think any book could shock me and turn it around, because I try not to go into books with too much knowledge or too much anticipation, because I just don't want to set it up for failure or put unnecessary pressure on said book. So yeah, I feel as though this question is very apt for a lot of my reading, because any book could shock me and become a favourite. And the final question is, have you started making any reading plans for 2025? My first reading plan is to do with a video series that is upcoming on this channel that I'm currently making my way through, and that is the Hyped Book series, in which I'm going to be reading and vlogging hyped books and telling you whether I think they're worth it or not. Obviously very subjective, it's my own opinion, but I just have a daunting factor when it comes to hype books, and I really want to tackle that heavily because there are so many hype books that I think are worth the hype. Equally, a lot that aren't, but I thought the series could be a fun way to really tackle that fear and also dive deep into hype books, get a bit of the atmosphere going. And yeah, so I'm starting actually that series with A Darker Shade of Magic because I've had that trilogy on my TBR for a long time. So yeah, I'm hoping to do more videos next year in which is part of the hype book series and in turn tackling hype books. So that's definitely a reading goal for next year. And then also the second one is somewhat controversial because I know book buying is very controversial, but for a book lover it's not, and that is buying books I'm excited for without guilt. I have always felt a lot of guilt for buying books, and I don't know what it is. I think it's because it just comes from that knowledge that I have the privilege to do so. And when I was younger, I didn't have much money, and so I was always frequenting at the library. So to have my own money now and to be able to afford to buy books, I feel is such a big 180 in my life, and genuinely feel so grateful for every single time I do it. And that's not to be dramatic, it's genuine. And yeah, so I think buying books without feeling that guilt is definitely a goal for 2025, because I hate it when I'm so excited for a book and a read, but I'm just battling guilt unnecessarily for no reason because I earned this money. So yeah, definitely buying books without guilt when I want them, because there are so many times that I just push off books, never get to reading books that I'm excited about. That's a lie. I am excited about all the books on my TBR, but in terms of the here and now, like I'll see a book on Waterstones or something or in my indie bookstore and I'm like, no, it's fine, like I'll save my money or I'll do something else. I won't buy the book. Just buy the books. That's what I want to take into 2025. So those are all of the questions. This was quite short, sharp and sweet, I want to say. I really enjoyed this tag. It's just fun to ramble and chat about book reading plans, books I'm excited about, books I love, yada yada yada. And yeah, I had so much fun doing this. As always, I would love to know the answer to the questions for you and any reading plans that you have, any great books that you read of the year, your most disappointed books of the year. I definitely think I'm going to release a video of my best 2024 reads because that's always fun to do as well. And yeah, I'm so excited, and thank you ever so much for watching. Until next time, friends, I hope that whatever you are and whatever you're doing, you have a wonderful day or night. Bye!